We are Facebook Live, and we're still at 11:59. I will record it at 12 o'clock sharp.
Excellent. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here for our science lunch. Couple of announcements. First and foremost, we have translation. So hop into the correct room if you need it, or notify team members if they need translation. So we have 3 different languages. We have Peter translating into Hungarian under Japanese. Okay. So your Hungarian translation is under Japanese. Thank you so much, Peter. We have Steve translating into Spanish. That one is straightforward. And then we have Jara, thank you so much, translating into Czech under German, okay? And those notes are also in the comments of the One Team Global Live post about today. Thank you, Scott Van Pelt, for your incredible organization and effort. We always appreciate everything you do in making these happen and come to life. Immense gratitude for you. And today we have an incredible special guest with us. You guys are going to be really excited to hear from him, because every time I get to hear from the incredible Tanner Gibb, I learn something more, and maybe 10 things more that will take your business to the next level. So we're going to dig into topics today being collagen and ageLOC Youth, 2 of my absolute favorite products, and putting them together, and why the ingredient profiles are so different than anything else you've ever put in your body. So get your pen and paper out if you don't have it already. Open up your mind, let it drink in all the incredible information. My name is Dr. Sierra Dedeker. I've been with the company for 20 years. I'm a team elite with the company, 2nd generation, and live, eat, and breathe these supplements in this business. So today we have Tanner, who is our technical communications manager for global research and development, well-versed in every single product, also started with us 20 years ago and started with product support. So this guy knows our products, right? Has his bachelor's from BYU, his master's from Utah State, many different awards because he is so amazing in talking about these products. So without further ado, Tanner, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. What a great day, great afternoon to learn. Who's ready for science out there? I'll try to simplify the science so we can all understand, but still provide some unique points that maybe you haven't heard about before with these products. Or if you're new to the business, it's going to be a great introduction to some of the key selling points and key scientific aspects of what we do. That being said, let me share my screen really quick. Go. Can everybody see that good-looking guy up there? That's me.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I should mention, just as by way of background, I'm one of many scientists in the company, right? We have so many different individuals. We have a success quality process that really differentiates what we do in selecting high-quality ingredients, sourcing them from around the world, setting very strict specifications, and standardizing to active compounds where applicable, and then making sure that all of our products are safe, for you, for your friends, for your family, safe ingredients, safe amounts, and then substantiating what we do, through clinical studies, through using clinically effective doses of ingredients, and putting these blends together that really make a difference in the lives of people that take them. So we're going to talk about 2 examples of those today in ageLOC Youth, and bring to life a little bit more some of the science and the ingredients in this blend. And then we'll talk about Collagen Plus, all about beauty, and then have a little bit of time for Q&A. So let's jump in. First of all, ageLOC Youth. So this is our most advanced anti-aging supplement we have ever developed. It promotes your youth span. Now, youth span is the years you can enjoy life being active, energetic, and healthy. Now, this is different from lifespan, right? Lifespan is simply the number of years that you live. Okay, whatever that might be, it's going to be different for all of us. Our focus is not on just lifespan. It's on how well do you live those years, right? Do you live your life with good health, with energy, because one of the #1 concerns that people have about aging is not being able to do the things that they love because they don't have that energy. They don't have that same health. And so that was the whole concept behind ageLOC Youth. Now, some of the scientific points is aging defense mechanisms, right? This product shifts or adjusts these to better support them for providing benefits throughout the entire body. #2, it's made from an incredible blend of ingredients and that really target and support a more youthful, healthy gene expression inside of the body. And we'll talk about that. And then #3 is this incredible blend or combination of ingredients that we selected and screened for is really difficult to obtain even from a healthy diet. And we'll talk about that too. So first, let's talk about gene expression and these aging defense mechanisms. So I have them listed here: DNA protection and repair, inflammatory balance, metabolism, tissue renewal, antioxidant defense, and stress response. These are all critical and they are all controlled by gene expression. And these mechanisms work in every tissue throughout your entire body. So it does make sense if you can support these, you can support the body systemically in terms of health and wellness and anti-aging. Inflammatory balance is my personal favorite because I believe it is key and critical to supporting good health as we age. What happens with inflammation is that it's a normal, natural, acute response in the body to keep our immune system working properly. However, when it becomes dysregulated or our body isn't working in the way that it should, we can get this chronic low-grade inflammation inside of the body that really wreaks havoc on healthy aging, right? It causes free radicals and oxidative stress. It accelerates the aging of our cells, our tissues, DNA, proteins, lipids, right? All of these compounds inside of us. And so supporting healthy gene expression and healthy aging defense mechanisms, we're able to create what I call this shield. It's almost this shield of protection against all of these sources of things that we know are bad for us, right? Poor diet, sun exposure, obesity, air pollution, digital screens. I'm not going to list them all because you can see them, but when these aging defense mechanisms are working properly and supported by this product, you really have this good shield of protection against this outside environment that's impacting us on the inside. So, like I mentioned, when these work in every cell and every tissue inside of the body, we can really support systemic youth preservation benefits, right? And this is going to be for anyone who really cares about aging well as they get older, supporting your brain, your skin, your cells, metabolic health, bone health, physical performance, eye health, heart health, wellness, joint health. Something I will mention here is that there is good science to support every single one of these benefits with the blend of these ingredients. One thing that people tell me often is, hey, Tanner, the benefit that I notice the most is fill in the blank. For you, it might be brain health, because maybe that's the area in your body where you needed these nutrients to work for you, right? Maybe for someone else, they're like, you know what? My skin is glowing. It's more protected. It just looks more youthful. It's fantastic, right? Other people are like, you know what? My heart health has improved, or my bone health, or whatever it might be. There's a really good theory in nutrition that they work in the body where you need it the most, because they're very intelligent, and the body is also very intelligent too. So we talked about gene expression, okay? This is what's called a heat map. Now, for those who are new, when I talk about gene expression, genes are just segments of DNA, right? DNA is the blueprint for our body. It's inside of every living cell that we have. And genes are segments of those that actually produce different enzymes and proteins and factors that make everything work inside of the body, essentially. And what happens is, with the aging process, some of those genes, they will change in their behavior or how active they are. Right? It's kind of like a light switch where some are turned on, some are turned off, but it's more accurate to describe it as like a dimmer switch where it's going to be turned on to some point and maybe turned off to some point, right? And that amount of dimming can actually shift or change with aging, where some genes increase in their expression and others decrease in their expression. And you can see on this heat map here, looking at thousands of genes, this is typical aging. So this is the heat map of how these genes behave with normal aging. However, if you can compare this to a healthy aging model that you know provides good results, you can see a dramatic shift in thousands of genes and how they behave or how active they are. Now, what we did with ageLOC Youth is we wanted to see, let's provide ageLOC Youth in this same typical aging model and see if it can change or alter some of these genes that change in their expression or activity patterns with the aging process. And what we found was something absolutely incredible, where this blend of ingredients really mimic in a very impactful way youthful or healthy aging inside of the body, talking about thousands of genes being shifted, looking at a holistic point of view in terms of the aging process. We really hit a home run with this selection process and the blend of ingredients. So you might be asking, well, what's inside of this great product? So this product has a lot of ingredients, and we're going to talk about each one of them briefly, but just at a high level, I want to emphasize that these ingredients are difficult to obtain even from a very healthy diet. A lot of people might think, hey, I eat a healthy diet, I'm good, I don't need to supplement, right? Wrong. You do, because there are certain ingredients based on personal preferences that you just aren't getting. For example, in the Mediterranean, citrus fruits, a lot of those active compounds called bioflavonoids are actually found in the peel of the fruit. So if you have, your lemon or your orange or your lime or your grapefruit, and you enjoy the juicy part, right, the tasty part of the fruit, and you discard the peel, you're discarding a lot of those bioactive compounds just because of that preference, where maybe it doesn't taste as good, but you could get that benefit through supplementation. Geography. Purple corn is a great example of something that most people around the world are not consuming. In my opinion, it is a superhero ingredient. It actually ranked toward the top in our gene expression screening, even though there was a lack of actual clinical studies on its benefits. Based on our unique screening process, it really ranked toward the top in its ability to mimic that healthier youthful gene expression. And unless you live in Peru or in a few different parts of the world, you're probably not getting a lot or any of this superhero ingredient. And then consistent and precise dose. There's a lot of ingredients where we don't eat on a regular basis, whether it be fatty fish, maybe it's going to be resveratrol. That's a key active ingredient that's good for sirtuins and activating some of these, anti-aging genes that we have inside of the body. However, the amount of red wine you have to drink to get the dose of resveratrol that you have in our product, which is still safe and effective, is way too much red wine that I would never recommend anyone drink in a single setting or a single day. But nonetheless, you can get that dose through supplementation, right? And so looking at all of these factors, you're not getting this even from a healthy diet. That said, what are some of these ingredients? And let's talk about these and bring them to life a little bit here. So we have CoQ10. If you've heard about that one, it's a great anti-aging ingredient. It's important for antioxidant support. It also helps with mitochondrial support and function inside of the body, so people need it for energy. Our bodies make a little bit, but it tends to decline with aging as well. So there tends to be that deficiency to really fill that gap. It's really good for heart health, good for your brain as well. Quercetin, another powerhouse ingredient. It is a very abundant phytonutrient in our diet. You can get it from apples, you can get it from onions. Of course, when you look at dietary intakes in the US and around the world for that matter, we're very deficient. We're not eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, and so we're not getting a lot of these nutrients from diet alone. Alpha lipoic acid. This is one where you can get very trace amounts from diet, but you really need to supplement to get an effective dose. It is a universal antioxidant. So it has special properties where it can work in both water-soluble and fat-soluble environments, and has unique properties because of that. Vitamin D and vitamin K2, these are some of the essential vitamins that we have. Vitamin D deficiency is a global epidemic, according to many experts in the area. We're not getting enough from diet alone. You can synthesize it from the sun, right? It is the sunlight vitamin. However, at the same time, you don't want to expose your skin to too much sunlight, because then it can damage and degrade some of these skin proteins like collagen that we'll get into a little bit later. And so supplementation is my recommendation for this nutrient that's important for mood, for mindset, for your bones, for so many different things. And your immune system. You have a lot of immune cells that have receptors that interact with vitamin D, making vitamin D a new and upcoming nutrient for immunity and overall health and wellness. Vitamin K2, this is a different form of vitamin K. K1 is the most common that we get from our diet. K2 you can get from fermented foods. You can get it from Japanese natto. But we're very deficient across the board in K2 specifically, that has unique properties, very different from K1. In fact, it provides cardiovascular benefits. It has more staying power in the body. And one of the mechanisms behind the heart health benefits of K2 is that it helps to take the calcium from the blood and get it inside of the bones, right? You don't want too much calcium building up inside of the blood vessels. And so K2 is really kind of a supreme transporter, good for heart health, but also good for our bones. Fish oil, we have EPA and DHA, ultra pure sources. We actually source them primarily from the coast of Peru, just off the coast. It's a very pure, clean area that is tightly regulated. We use anchovies as our primary source because anchovies are very small fish. They're advantageous because they're more pure than the medium-sized or the big fish. They also are short-lived. So they have a short lifespan, meaning that they don't have a lot of time to bioaccumulate toxins throughout their lifespan. And they're also naturally very rich in EPA and DHA. So we collect these anchovies. They go through an ultra purification process to be able to provide this ultra pure fish oil, to provide these nutrients that are very important for your heart, your joints, your brain, your eyesight. I mean, fish oil provides a lot of numerous benefits in the body. I'm just getting started here talking about these ingredients, but let's keep going. Purple corn, like I mentioned before, this really was an unknown ingredient to the world in terms of its benefits until we really put it inside of our product, because it was really just preliminary research that suggested it had good antioxidant value. It has some anthocyanins, some different compounds in there that are really good for your heart, for your metabolism, and gene expression. It was much better than a lot of typical superfood ingredients that people think about, like, blueberry or pomegranate or so many different things. Purple corn was really incredible. So astaxanthin, it's a super antioxidant. It's what provides a lot of the pink color to your salmon, to flamingos. It's super in a sense that it has a unique structure. We can actually measure it with the biophotonic scanner. That, along with the lycopene and the lutein, these carotenoid antioxidants are what provide a lot of colors to nature. A lot of the yellows, the leafy greens, the oranges, the reds that provide those vibrant colors in nature. And they're these phytochemicals that are super critical for our health, right? They're found abundantly in the skin, and so they provide nice skin protective benefits. They're found in eyes, they're found in heart tissue, they're found in many different areas throughout the body. Resveratrol is one of these anti-aging superhero ingredients. I should mention that there is some research that studies showing right around the dose that we provide in our product to be kind of this optimal sweet spot of resveratrol, where you don't need mega high doses of this ingredient to have that anti-aging effect inside of the body. When I saw that research, I just nodded my head and said, yeah, we've been on the right track for a long time, looking at our science, making sure that safety comes first, because it really is super in terms of its ability to turn on some of these anti-aging genes inside of the body. We know it's good for the heart, it's good for the brain, it's good for so many different things. Rosemary is one of the key ingredients we added because it's really good for brain health, for mental clarity, for cognition. That, along with the citrus bioflavonoids right underneath it, these bioflavonoids from citrus fruits, they can actually cross this blood-brain barrier inside of the body that allows them to have those antioxidant, inflammatory balance, and DNA protection qualities and mechanisms that work throughout the body, but especially in the brain, which is a very, very active tissue that uses a lot of the body's energy. So that's just a little bit of these ingredients. We put these to the test and we do clinical studies. I'll just share 2 of those clinicals today. This is a study that we looked at in the skin. What we did is we took a part of the skin on the body and we exposed it to UV light, right? We know that too much UV light, it can damage and degrade the skin. It can burn the skin and cause damage. And you can see in this graph, we have 0 MED. This is 0 UV. 1 MED, this is the amount of UV light that causes some redness or a little bit of pink, a little bit of burn on the skin. 2 MED is twice that dose. 3 MED is 3 times that dose. And you can see before ageLOC youth, you can see there's a lot of redness, and you can see that redness starting to spread with a higher amount of UV light. However, after taking ageLOC youth for 2 months, you can see really at that 1 MED dose, it really has that nice skin protective effect. It's very difficult to see any kind of pinkness or redness or burning happening on the skin. And then look at that 3 MED dose. You can see that it really controls the spread of that redness. That's actually an indicator of the inflammation that is caused by this oxidative stressor that begins to spread that damage throughout the skin. What I want to make known here is that the skin is a wonderful biomarker of health inside the body. So it really is good evidence that we can detect and see visually where these aging defense mechanisms are working, throughout the body to provide these benefits on protecting our cells, on inflammatory balance, DNA protection, right? And all the things that I've talked about today. Here's one more study. And for those that love the studies, you're going to love this. So this is actually a rather new one that was published in 2020. So just a few years ago, we wanted to look at the brain, its activity, how it works and responds with ageLOC youth. So we took a group of individuals who didn't have any signs of cognitive decline. So they were healthy inside of their brain. And we wanted to look at a key biomarker called glutathione. Now, for those that know glutathione, some experts believe it to be the most critical single antioxidant inside of the body. One thing about it is that supplementing with it is very difficult because it's a big molecule. The best way to increase glutathione is actually through nutrients that help to build it naturally because it's an intrinsic antioxidant. What we showed in this study was not only antioxidant benefits and detoxification benefits from this supplementation through an increase in glutathione, we also saw a change in the brain biochemistry looking at the ratio of glutamate to glutamine. Now, these are different neurotransmitters that work inside of the brain. Glutamate is one of these things that really provides good energy in the brain. Now, when your brain is focused and you can concentrate and you can think very clearly, you usually have a little bit more glutamate activity happening. And even in healthy individuals, once again, we can see better markers of energy inside of the brain. And like I mentioned before, the brain, super active, right? It's only 2% of your body weight, but it uses up about 20% of your body's energy, up to about 25% when you're actively using it, right? So these 2 findings were actually very critical and something that we haven't seen anywhere else in scientific literature, showing with a double-blind placebo-controlled study that a dietary supplement in healthy elderly individuals can actually have these nice improvements in energy and antioxidant detoxification inside the brain. So let's switch gears a little bit. Everyone take a deep breath. That was a lot of information to focus on ageLOC youth.
That was incredible.
Is it good? Okay, good.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite supplements. It actually is one of our top sellers around the globe too, for good reason, because of the science that went into it.
I hadn't taken mine yet today, Tanner, and I was be sure to take it as you were talking.
Good. Okay, so we're all caught up. ageLOC youth, anti-aging supreme supplement. We're going to switch gears and talk about something completely different, but it still is related because we know collagen is super critical, right? And we're going to talk about some of these bullet points that provide strength and structure to the body. It's a very strong protein. It's actually the most abundant protein It's found in bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, and skin. One thing I'll mention here, when you take oral collagen peptides, can you control exactly where they go? Can you tell them, hey, I want all of you to go to the muscle or the bone or the ligaments or the skin? You can't, right? Once these peptides enter circulation, they go wherever they want to go, right? That being said, the focus with our product is going to be about beauty. So it has a characteristic amino acid sequence. This is unique actually because it is very abundant in glycine. This is one of the unique amino acids that actually is found in very high concentrations in collagen, much higher than other protein sources, in addition to other amino acids that help to provide its unique structure and strength and resiliency inside of the body. Proline and hydroxyproline, for those that are keeping tabs, are the other key 3 most abundant amino acids in collagen. It's really important for the skin. I think a lot of us know that. Collagen is what kind of plumps up and provides that support and structure for the skin. As it declines with aging, what typically happens is our bodies produce less collagen. That leads to more saggy skin, to deeper lines and wrinkles, and some of those characteristics of aging that we can see visually. And our ability to replenish it goes down. It's by about 1.5% per year. You know, that varies. That usually begins in our early 20s, but it really accelerates once we get into the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. As we age, our bodies just become less efficient at producing collagen. So we have a unique blend that we put together to support this, and we'll talk about these. We have bioactive collagen peptides that are really key for stimulating and growing new collagen inside of our skin. Lutein is for that radiant glow. We can measure it with a biophotonic scanner. And then lastly are these ceramides that we get from a wheat lipid extract. The one question that always comes up about this is there gluten? And the great thing about this wheat lipid, for those that really know their wheat, you know that you have different parts of the wheat. We actually collect the endosperm, and then we collect the lipid portion of that. Gluten is a protein that is typically found not in the lipid portion of an extract of wheat. So the beginning point is we're using something that has filtered most of the gluten to begin with, in addition to actually going through 2 filtering processes. We actually test this source to make sure that it contains less than 20 parts per million gluten. And just so you know, in the United States, anything less than 20 parts per million is going to be what is considered gluten-free. Now, what that means around the world can vary, keep that in mind, but in the United States, that's exactly what that means. And so just keep that in mind when we talk about that. The benefit of these ceramides is that they really provide that moisture blanket on top of the skin. It's kind of like this umbrella of protection that helps to keep the water from seeping out or leaking out of the skin, to better help with that transepidermal water loss, which is a technical term for how much water is lost from the skin. We want to keep that inside. So let's focus on these peptides though. So bioactive collagen peptides, these are unique, and at the bottom you can see there, they have an average size of 2 kilodaltons. That is very, very significant. There is some unpublished internal data that has compared this combination of peptides with other peptides that have a size of, say, for example, 2.1 or 2.9 and other different sizes, where small differences in this process you can see above, where it goes through a controlled treatment to separate these strands of amino acids, and then it goes through a hydrolysis reaction where you apply specific enzymes in this blend to be able to, cut up these collagen strands into smaller pieces that we call peptides. I mean, the definition of a peptide is just a combination of 2 or more amino acids that are strung together. That's all a peptide is. And so they're coming from proteins, and this particular size was the most effective. So think of it kind of like a fingerprint, right? Everyone has their own fingerprint, their own little thumbprint. If you ever travel internationally into some countries, you put it on the radar and they detect and they know who you are because it's unique to you. Just like small differences in these peptides can create a slightly different fingerprint, this particular fingerprint was the most effective. okay? And this is why it was special and patented, this particular process by the vendor, showing that it was more effective, and it's backed by clinical studies. So let's talk about some of these. This was the preliminary research in vitro that wanted to discover, hey, out of all these different types of peptides, because they're all over the marketplace, right? I mean, you go into any store and you can see collagen peptides all over, but are they all created the same? Absolutely not. Small differences can have a huge impact. And this is what they discovered here, is you can see these bioactive collagen peptides were about twice as effective as just common or generic peptides. So what I tell people, look, if you want generic results, take a generic peptide product. But if you want the best, take something that is bioactive, that is actually studied and proven. Compare that to gelatin. Now, for those who know, gelatin is derived from collagen, okay? Collagen is just the big protein. When it's denatured or separated, those strands, that's all gelatin is. So gelatin has the same amino acids as peptides, but it doesn't do a good job at stimulating collagen. So what this teaches us scientifically is that it's not just about providing the building blocks. You can't just have the peptides or the amino acids. What you need is these small size of peptides that can actually be absorbed inside the body directly to be able to stimulate the creation of new collagen and new elastin. That is the key to the science. And so this particular source is backed by 5 published clinical studies, and I'm going to share with you just a few of them. This, to me, is the key clinical study showing that these peptides are proven to increase skin proteins, in particular, procollagen type 1, which is the precursor to collagen. So for all intents and purposes, a 65% increase in collagen is what you see with these bioactive collagen peptides. I haven't seen anything close to that in the industry from scientific literature, not even close. And looking at the studies, these peptides, they're not generic. They're actually backed by studies that show benefits. A 15% increase in skin elasticity, up to a 30%. A 20% decrease in the appearance of wrinkle volume. You look at the volume or the depth of wrinkles because that is an indicator of how the skin is sagging and losing that collagen over time, right? So if you can actually decrease that wrinkle volume, you are improving skin structure and seeing the benefits that come by boosting collagen in the skin. And then last but not least is nail growth, right? In this same study, they showed less chipped or broken nails at the same time. So this is going to be an indicator of aging. If you don't know that, actually, how fast your nails grow is an indicator of aging inside of the body. One of those fun little tidbits to learn about. So let me just sum this up by talking about some of the key benefits when you combine all these ingredients together. So it boosts collagen and elastin in your skin. I might say dramatically boosts collagen and elastin in your skin, right? Clinically proven to make you look more youthful, supports skin hydration, helps visibly reduce fine lines and wrinkles, helps protect against oxidative stressors, including blue light. It is level 1 SCS certified. We can measure the difference over time because of the lutein. It is made with 0 artificial colors, flavors, or sweeteners. One thing to mention here, we have different formats of collagen around the world, right? We have a ready to drink. We have it in powder in a sachet that comes prepared. And then we also have it as a powder that you actually have a scoop to mix in with some liquid. And designing this product without any artificial colors or flavors or sweeteners is actually a challenge to make it still taste good, but make sure that we're meeting consumer demand for safe ingredients and what people really want. And then the last point here, this is what we'll talk about in my next slide. It helps prepare the skin for more complementary benefits from the best skincare products in the world that we have, right? And this is the one thing I love about this before I switch to my next slide is when you think about the history of Nu Skin, I mean, it began in 1984. It was a long time ago. That was the year I was born, actually. It was a wonderful year. And in that year, Nu Skin began with all of the good and none of the bad. This is before, clean skincare was even a thing or a trend, right? We really began with all of the good and none of the bad in our skincare leading the way. And over time, what our company realized is that the only way to optimize beauty, you need good nutrition on the inside. Good skincare is not enough. Now, it's a huge step. You need good skincare, but you also need good nutrition from the inside. And collagen is a great example of something that supports that skin structure so that you can optimize the benefits of good skincare on the outside. So we did a clinical study looking at just the benefits of collagen. And you can see here changes in overall appearance, in skin texture, which is how smooth your skin is, in skin radiance, which is that youthful glow that we all want. And you can see differences in collagen compared to the placebo. A lot of people mention why the placebo group has an increase or an improvement. This is very common. Just think about it. If you participate in a clinical study about beauty and you don't know if you get the beauty supplement or the placebo, you're probably going to take a little bit better care of your skin. It's a normal, natural phenomenon. This is why you have a placebo group, so that you can actually see the difference between just taking better care of your skin and how much a supplement or treatment can actually help improve that in addition to what you do on your own. But that's not all. I already mentioned this, but you get better results when combined with what we have to offer. And what we did in this clinical study is we compared it with the LumiSpa. So in these same attributes, what we did is we looked at percent improvement over baseline, comparing the placebo to LumiSpa, which is incredible. For those who don't know LumiSpa, you should get to know it. It's an incredible device that has this micropulse oscillating movement on the skin with incredible cleansers and treatment products that go with it. And what it does is it really provides these 7 benefits in one. It's very immediate, but the results expand as you use it over time. Very fun, easy device to use. But when you combine that with Collagen Plus, you can see a statistical significant increase or improvement, right? Same thing for some of these other attributes that I'll click on really quick. You can see changes in skin texture and changes in radiance. The key point I want you to remember here is that you get better results when you have good skincare using the LumiSpa combined with Collagen Plus. And that is the end of my formal presentation. So let me stop sharing and give it back to you.
Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Everything that I always take away from you, I end up getting a hand cramp too with new stuff. So thank you for all of that, Tanner. Okay, so I've got a couple of questions since we've got about 10 minutes here. Let's dive right in. So first, talking about aging defense mechanisms, can we unpack that one a little bit and where those live in the body, and saying, the skin is a really good biomarker for the whole body. So can we draw that connection of, what we might be targeting here as far as youth?
Yeah, absolutely. So these ADMs, or aging defense mechanisms, they work in every cell throughout your body. Right, and they're absolutely critical, and we can go in depth into each one of them. But I mean, I mentioned briefly on the call that inflammatory balance is my personal favorite, because it really is connected to our immune response, and we know that our immune system is really about keeping us healthy, right? It's keeping us safe, because you get some bug or something, you have this inflammatory response that comes to fight it off and keep us healthy. But if it misfires, or if it's not working properly, right, we get that chronic inflammation that really damages, our cells. And these cells we have throughout our body, I mean, trillions of these, that's who we're made of. But in addition to that, I mean, the DNA protection and repair, another key mechanism I didn't really talk about, that works in every cell in the body too. I mean, your cells are exposed to thousands, if not millions, of free radical insults every single day. I mean, it's this constant battle or war ground that we have inside of the body, of these free radicals needing sufficient levels of these antioxidants. And I might add a network of antioxidants to really fight them off, because we have different types of free radicals. You can't just have a single mega dose of one antioxidant and say, oh, I'm good, I'm covered, because they do different things, right? They interact in different ways in cell signaling. And so this constant battle of these free radicals, and I should mention, they don't sleep at nighttime, right? They don't go to bed. I mean, they're attacking us every single minute of the day and night. And so getting that consistent dose in our body, a lot of these ingredients we talked about are water soluble. So like the purple corn, the bioflavonoids, the resveratrol, And so they have this spike, but they also decrease rather rapidly inside the body as well. And they're all a little different, but to get that consistent dose throughout the day, this is why we recommend splitting the dose of ageLOC Youth to get that consistent serum protection during the daytime, but also during the nighttime as well, to support all of these mechanisms working in every cell through the body.
Oh, I love that whole idea of synergistic approach and feeding the body what it needs, but having the very best supplements so your body doesn't have to triage nutrients, right? Okay, so second question, and I get this one quite a bit. With both youth and collagen, I know you said in our early 20s, we start to lose some collagen and it accelerates in later years. I have a lot of people wanting it for prevention. Would you recommend, what age would you recommend integrating ageLOC Youth and collagen, knowing that that's pretty individually specific, but generally, what would you recommend?
Sure. I mean, for adults, 18 and above is going to be our official recommendation. And some people might look at that and think, oh, I'm an 18-year-old, I'm a 25-year-old. I don't need this stuff. I don't need youth preservation. I don't need anti-aging. Wrong, actually. When it comes to the research, actually, the earlier you begin as an adult in helping to support and protect your body against these signs and symptoms of aging, the better off you're going to be. Because the benefit of long-term nutrition isn't just, oh, take it for one day or take it for 1 week or wait until I have all of these signs and then I begin. If you can get your body these nutrients at the right time in the right place, there's going to be much greater value in the long run instead of waiting, which is what some people do. They're like, oh, I'll just wait until I'm 50 or 60 or 70 or whatever it might be. That's not the right approach with good nutrition and youth preservation in the body.
I love that. Yep. And that we launched ageLOC when I was in my early 20s, and I'm glad I started taking it then and saw the value of it. So, okay, fantastic. Next, and really why I wanted to talk both products today, do you see a synergistic benefit between the two, mostly around triaging nutrients and how we can support foundationally with youth, and then also with collagen from both, internal aspects? Would you say the two work well together?
Yeah, they do. I believe they're complementary products. They're great ones. They're ones that you don't often think about combining together because you're like, well, youth for anti-aging and then collagen for beauty. But really, and I alluded to this in the training, the skin is a wonderful biomarker of aging inside of the body. It really is. And when it comes to collagen, the mechanism for supporting skin and beauty is very different from the skin health protection that you get from a product like ageLOC Youth. And so even if both products can support, skin health and beauty, they do it in different ways with different ingredients and different mechanisms. And this is why there is, complementary results by combining these things together. The collagen peptides are about boosting collagen that kind of supports and lifts and provides that structure to the skin. Well, if you're taking something like that to really boost collagen in the skin and support that youthfulness, you better be taking something else like ageLOC Youth to provide that network of antioxidants, because we know that the skin, it's the largest organ in the body. It is exposed to more free radicals than anything else by nature, right? From pollution, toxins, UV light, smoking, whatever it might be. And this network of antioxidants, right, of different vitamins, different intrinsic antioxidants, right, different things, they all work together as a team, kind of like a soccer team. If you're a sports fan, you can't have one superhero that does it all for you. You have this team that work together. You pass the ball. Same thing with these antioxidants and free radicals. They're passing the ball around and they support each other. They regenerate each other to be able to provide that better protection, because we know free radicals, what they do in oxidative stress, they can actually cause this cascade of effects inside of the skin where they can increase different things like MMPs, for example, that degrade your collagen. So free radicals can actually make it harder for your body to produce collagen. And so if you have this network, you can protect the skin from the inside out, in addition to boosting it from the inside out with your collagen. So they do go hand in hand.
I love that, giving it a better foundation to jump off of. The visualization of a team. I love it. Okay. And then this one was kind of new for me. And one of my doctors brought it up in conversation and she goes, oh, Sierra, I get it. I didn't realize your collagen was really around peptide and peptide medicine. And she goes, we have whole conferences on peptides, right? And so really in telling everyone here why our collagen is so different, it's really in a completely in and of itself. And I think you've shown that with the results from these studies, but talking about where we're headed with peptides. And, Nu Skin is always at the cutting edge of where we're headed. And like you mentioned, maybe light years ahead of where we're headed in the world at large, right? But the difference in what our peptide does and talking about the cascade of benefits, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned, a peptide is just a combination of 2 or more amino acids. When we talk about nutrition as a whole, we have carbohydrates and fats that essentially break down in the body for storage or energy. I like to think of proteins as these building blocks and structural components for the body, right? Because it breaks down into these peptides or amino acids. And so the reason there's so many different peptides is that there's so many different combinations of amino acids that they are going to be used in medicine in so many different fields for so many different purposes. It depends on the peptides that you use that are going to determine the outcome or the benefit that you receive. And there's different names for these as well, right? You can name, well, I don't want to get into that, but what I'll mention here, and what I love about our specific collagen peptides is that they did discover that small differences in the combination or the fingerprint of these peptides can have a dramatic effect on how effective they are. And so you can't generalize the effect of other collagen peptides to our product because you just don't know if you're going to get that same result or that same effect, right? And I've seen that often in research, even in literature sometimes where you'll piggyback on results of something else. But when you look at the details, that can have a difference in how effective they are. You need to take that into account. And so, yeah, I could go on and on about this, but.
Well, and I know you and the team behind you have always been detail oriented and high science. So thank you so much. That's what I've got for you today. I so appreciate your time, your energy. Happy birthday to your son. And thank you to our translators. You guys are amazing. Hopefully we didn't talk too quickly for you. And again, thank you, Scott, for everything you do. And thank you to all our participants for being here and taking time out on your lunch break. We'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys. Take care. Thank you so much, Tanner.
Yep. Thank you. See everybody. Have a great day. Make it a good one.